Okay, we have reached the near conclusion of our summit. And it has been it's been quite a day. I have to say, I've come away learning so much with so much more insight, and having made new friends. I hope that all of you feel the same way. As we come to one of our final fireside chats, it's my privilege to introduce two truly remarkable individuals who will be leading our closing discussion. And both are distinguished leaders in their fields, renowned for their insights and contributions to technology and society. They're also both women. For those of you in the audience who know the work that I do a lot of work on gender equality and women's empowerment. And I want to give a round of applause to Turkish Philanthropy Funds, which really prioritizes women and gender equality, and making sure that women are equally represented here and that their voices in terms of innovation and contributions are not diminished. So a round of applause for TPF. We have with us Professor Zeynep Tüfekçi. She's a sociologist, a writer, and a teacher known for her thought-provoking analysis on the impact of technology and society and culture. She is, you probably all know, she's a contributing writer at the New York Times, where she explores the intersection of technology, society, and ethics. Her work offers critical perspectives on topics ranging from privacy and surveillance to social movements and the dynamics of the digital age. Zeynep's unique point of view helps us understand how technological advancements can shape public discourse and influence societal structures. And an interesting note, I met Zeynep on Twitter probably more than a decade, probably 20 years ago. Probably. No? Okay. Maybe I'm showing my own age. Joining her is Ayşegul İldeniz, who is a visionary leader whose extensive experience spans multiple continents and sectors within the tech industry. Currently serving on the boards of several leading technology companies, Ayşegul has been at the forefront of innovation in Silicon Valley and beyond. Her strategic leadership at companies like Intel and her current roles in global technology firms highlight her deep understanding of how technology can drive business success and societal progress. And a very important, ışınla bize, right? Beam me up Ayşegul. Beam me up, Ayşegul. So get on your phones and order the book. Together, Zeynep and Ayşegul will explore the role of innovation in shaping our future, discussing how we can harness technology to address some of the most pressing challenges of our times. Their combined expertise promises to deliver an enlightening and engaging conversation. Please join me in welcoming Zeynep and Ayşegul to the stage.
See you after all this.
Yeah. Thank you. Great job. Okay, here we are.
I have to remember where we did meet. I have to think about.
It's been a couple of years in New York City, I think.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody. What a pleasure to be here together with Zeynep Tüfekçi. My God, it's been a couple of years in the making, together with the TPF team, and me and a bunch of others who you've seen today have been working on this event, and I can't believe we made it a reality, so hooray. And I think the double icing on the cake is today is 23 Nisan, so fantastic. And I'm going to give you the quote for my favorite quote from Atatürk. I don't know how to translate this to English, so live with my Turkish for the moment. He said, öğretmenlere diyor ki, gelecek için fikri hür, vicdanı hür ve irfanı hür gençler yaratın diyor. Ve So, I mean, I'd love to think that today is a phenomenal expression of exactly that, which is a bunch of individuals who are very, very good in what they actually do. They are our future. They understand technology. They understand science. They're from academia. And yet again, they can have big discussions and thoughtful discussions about how to make the world a better place, how to make our Turkey a better place. So glad to be with you, particularly with a very distinguished, of course, guest of Zeynep Tüfekçi. So with that, we should get going.
Yeah, thank you so much for organizing all this event and all that you do. So, and it is just an honor and pleasure to be here, especially on 23 Nisan. And we'll see the neşe doluyor insan part at the end of this while you guys still feel it holds up. So I want to start by asking you, what about the current developments, especially, with artificial intelligence, with everything that's going on, what excites you? What do you think are all the ways that this will be used for? And, what are the things that you find most invigorating and interesting about its applications?
Yeah. Great question. I've been in the technology sector, living in Silicon Valley, probably more than 30 years now. And never do I recall, well, once, which was around 25 years ago when the digital revolution started unfolding. Hold that thought, I'll get to it in the next rounds, but I've never been so excited. I can't even sleep because I keep thinking I'm going to miss out on everything because I have a job to do in the morning, and I keep on worrying that the dizzy speed of innovation is just going so crazy. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy of some sort that it gets faster and faster. But maybe a couple of facts as to why this is happening from the facts perspective. Number one, just last year alone, the top 4 companies, the tech companies, have invested $125 billion on infrastructure. Almost half of it went to NVIDIA chips because we know their revenue, which was $62 billion, but it's almost the entire thing went to data centers to make AI a reality. So this is the highest ever. It's probably 10x of the average of the past whatever X many years, number one. Number two, when we look at the speed of change, a year and a half, let's say 2 years ago, we got this machine that said, well, I'll be able to predict the next word for you, and then 1 year later, the machine has passed the bar exam. It can literally become a lawyer if it wants to. Thank God it's not a human that it can't. Not only that, it also passed calculus. I don't know if you've taken calculus, and there you go. We both went to Boğaziçi. You had to take it, and it was dreadful. It passes calculus on its own. So that amazing capability increase that we can see. The other thing is the parameters, which is almost like if I may, compare it to a human's brain, as to say, we have something like 100 trillion synapses in our brain. Right now, the parameters of these algorithms are around 2 trillion is the max that we heard about it. We don't know if they do better. If 5.0 comes out with the GPT, maybe it'll even be, I don't know, I heard about a 10 trillion number, what have you. So it's getting just faster and faster. It's not only 100 billion, it's not 360 billion like it was at GPT-3. It's 2 trillion parameters, meaning it's very smart algorithms. And the last time I checked, I was telling everybody, oh, don't worry about it. It has no memory. It doesn't work. It can only remember 2,000 words. Now it's going to remember 1 million words. So the amount of the tokens just shut out. So the amount of the wave that's coming to us, I believe, is not just technology. It's a sociological, anthropological, call it whatever. This is your area. I don't even want to speculate as somebody who worked only in technology all her life. But I think the entire world, the way that we live, the sectors that we work on will all be impacted with this wave. And it's just so fast that I actually think there won't be even any time to sit and digest this coming thing. So it's just coming at us at a lightning speed, if I may say that. So I'll turn the question over to you. What do you think is so spectacular? Is it spectacular from your perspective?
So it's a very interesting development with a lot of implications, right? So it's very true that, like, I had the same reaction because during the pandemic, I was working on pandemic-related stuff, and I was just like checking and thinking, what? What happened? What happened? Like every month there was a major development, and these large language models are clearly surprising in many ways. They've done things that we did not think it would be, this easy in some ways. And just they keep, as you say, the investments growing, the capabilities are changing. So there's two things I think about. One of them is what you alluded to, the social implications. Because, we've had very rapid technological changes for the past few centuries. And I would argue that we had like really fast changes in 19th century. In like within a couple of generations, we went from people who hadn't even been born, when the telegraph was invented, their great-grandparents witnessed the moon landing and nuclear weapons and computers, right? Like that's just, within basically living memory, we had this incredibly rapid shift. And I think in some ways it kind of slowed down. It's hard to sort of put an objective thing on it between post-World War II era where things still developed, things still happened. But my grandmother was a phone operator in Turkey when she was young. She would plug in the jacks to one another to connect the calls, and my grandfather was operated a telegraph, I think, right? And within her lifetime, we got cheaper phone calls, we got smartphones, we got a lot of things, but it was still mostly recognizable to her, right? A phone was a phone, They got TV, then color TV. Like these are big changes, but they're still within it's nothing like going from a world with no telegraph even to instantaneous global communication. So I think there's this reacceleration, which is quite interesting, and that we haven't really wrapped our heads around. And of course, the internet, where you were talking about, the smartphones have done one wave of great changes as we have witnessed, so this one is going to do some other wave. So the things I think about on the technical side are the reliability versus capability thing, right? Because clearly, as large language models, their capabilities are growing, but there's also a clear, hallucination is the nickname for it, right? Because they're generative, they are generating things that don't exist, and in ways that don't match our prior correlations. For example, if I'd seen a very coherent text before from a student, I would assume, barring an essay, they wrote it. And they worked at it. But right now, when I see an essay, I have no